Hi everyone! Welcome back to Kidding Around. My name is Melanie Smith and I am so happy that you are here with me today for another Test Tube Tuesday. Of course, on Tuesdays we do scientific fun and today is no different. Today we will be talking about air pressure. Before we do that though, if you like what you're seeing here and want to follow along with all of Kidding Around's videos, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Below each video, click the thumbs up, and of course, if you really like what you're doing here, please share us with your friends. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's move on and talk about air pressure. I'm sure that you've heard that term before, but have you ever really had a chance to think about it? What does it mean that air has pressure? Air pressure is defined as the weight of air molecules pressing down on the earth. You can use a barometer to measure the air pressure, and by watching those readings on the barometer, meteorologists or people who predict the weather can make forecasts and study weather patterns. The way that a barometer works is that pressure, the air pressure on the barometer, moves a column of mercury in a cylinder upward or downward. And then the barometric pressure is measured in centimeters or inches. We will actually get a chance to make our own barometer today. We won't be using mercury, and it won't be an official barometer, but it will definitely be something that you can use to measure the pressure of the air from day to day to day. But before we do that, let's do a couple experiments to see some air pressure at work. All right, so the first one requires a glass of water that's about a quarter to a third full, an index card. I'm not using an index card, I'm using some cardstocks because I couldn't get an index card to fit over the mouth of this jar, which you will understand in a little bit is very important. All right, so that's all this first one takes. So I am going to put this card over the mouth of the glass. I'm going to make sure that it's completely covered, and then I am going to turn over this glass of water. What do you think is going to happen if I move my hand right now? Make your prediction. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Look at that. The air pressure under the card is holding the card up. Isn't that fun? All right, I have some paper towels close because as I turned it back over, you probably saw that some water leaked out. But this is a fun experiment to show your friends and family your knowledge of air pressure. Of course, as you do this, you should probably practice it before you show them. And as you practice, make sure to practice over a sink until you get the hang of it, okay? All right, so let's move on to another fun experiment about air pressure. This one requires an empty water bottle or old juice bottle or soda bottle and a small bit of paper towel. So I am going to tear off a bit of paper towel and I'm going to make it into a ball. The ball size should be about half of this opening. So it shouldn't completely stuff it full and it shouldn't be super, super tiny. It should fill it about halfway. It doesn't take very much paper towel to do that. All right, I think I have mine now. So you can see that the paper towel takes up about half. Maybe this one isn't quite halfway. Let me put just a little bit more paper towel over it. This is not an exact science, but it should be roughly about that size. It could even be a little bit bigger. Okay, so now I am going to place this ball, this paper towel ball, just on the mouth of the bottle. Maybe I will. All right, nope. Okay, there we go. So now, what do you think will happen as I blow on the ball of paper towel? Make your hypothesis. What do you think? All right, so we see. Okay, here we go. Here, you know what? I'm actually going to hold the bottle because I don't want my breath to blow the bottle away. So I will hold the bottle. I'm not going to touch the paper towel, and I am going to keep my mouth away from the mouth of the bottle. So I won't be putting my mouth on it, but I'm just going to blow from 3 or 4 inches away. Make your hypothesis. Here we go. I don't know if you could see that or not. Let's try it one more time. All right, so the ball is right there on the mouth of the bottle, and here we go. Did you see it? Let's do it one more time to make sure that you can see what is happening. All right, here we go. Interesting, right? When I blew this ball, I initially thought that the ball would go into the bottle, right? It just makes sense. If you blow something, if you blow it now, it moves away from you, right? But in the mouth of the bottle, it doesn't work that way because there's already air pressure in this bottle. So as you blow in, the air pressure is still there and it pushes that ball, or it keeps that ball from going in. Try this one and amaze your friends. All right, should we do another one? Okay, so this one requires a funnel and a ping pong ball. So I'm going to put the ping pong ball down in the funnel, and then I am going to blow on this end of the funnel, and I'm curious what you think will happen. Make your hypothesis, and here we go. Did you see that? All right, I'll do it again. I am blowing as hard as I can blow, and that ping pong ball is staying inside the funnel. The reason that that happens is because as you are blowing air into this little part, the air is coming out and it's creating low pressure under the ball, and so that means that higher pressure is on top of the ball, and that is what's keeping that ball inside the bowl. Let's try it one more time. This works if you're blowing straight up, and as you can see, it even works as I'm kind of pointing this sideways so that you can see the ball. So this is a very fun one to do to impress your friends and family as well. All right, we've actually got two more, but we've got one more right here, right now, with the materials that we have. So this one requires a bowl or a sink full of water and a glass that will, you're going to put this glass in the water, and you want to make sure that the surface of the water is higher than your glass is tall. So you can see here I'm using a small mason jar. All right, and then it also requires some tissue. So this is tissue that it's dry, it's just normal tissue. I just pulled it out of the box, and now I am going to put it down in the bottom of this jar, and I am going to turn it over and put it straight down in this water. What do you think is going to happen? Shall we find out? All right, here we go. All right, you can see the glass is fully submerged in the water, and the tissue is still in the glass. All right, so I just pulled it out. Now my hand is dry. I'm going to reach in, and you see that this tissue is still completely dry. It is not wet at all, not one drop of water. Let's do it one more time. We'll see if you can see this from the top here too. I'm going to put it straight down in. The glass jar is completely submerged. And now I am going to pull it out, and the tissue remains dry. And that is because the air pressure is strong enough to keep the water out when we push that down into the water. All right, we have one more experiment to do, and then we are going to make our own barometer. This last experiment requires something to have been in the freezer for about 30 minutes. So the thing that I have in the freezer is freezing right now, and I didn't want to have it out thawing while we were doing all of these fun experiments. So I'm going to go and get everything, and then I will come back and we will do our final experiment, and then we will get to make our own barometers. All right, I'm back for our final experiment. I have a bowl, some hot water, and then I also have a water bottle that has a balloon that has been pulled over the mouth of it and then frozen this way. So you can see that the balloon is completely deflated and very cold at this point. So I am now going to very carefully pour some pretty warm water. You can see the steam, I'm sure. Pour some water into my glass bowl. Of course, this is something to do with some adult supervision when you're dealing with super hot water, right? Okay, now I am going to put in this cold bottle into the water, and we are going to watch the balloon blow up. Isn't that cool? Do you have any idea what is causing this to happen? It's air pressure. So as air gets warm, the molecules bounce around a lot more. So this bottle had cold air in it, and then as it goes into the hot water, the bottle is heated up, and the air molecules inside start bouncing around, and they take up more space, and that causes the balloon to inflate. All right, do you want to see it one more time? Let's see. This one's been out a little bit longer. But it works just the same. It's definitely something, you can see that it's blowing up there, but I can see that the balloon, the way it kind of froze, may not be able to quite stand up. We'll give it a couple minutes and see. But what I was saying is this is something that you definitely want to take them straight out of the freezer and then put them into the warm water. If you let these heat up even just for a couple extra minutes, it won't work as well. All right, well, I think this is probably all that we are going to get from the second one that was a little bit warmer as it went in, and also a little bit kinked, the way that that balloon froze down over the mouth of the bottle. But this is air pressure at work. Isn't that fun? All right, like I mentioned, this is hot water, so I'm going to be very careful, and I'm going to move it aside, and I will let it cool down before I move it. So as you can tell, temperature plays a huge role in air pressure. So meteorologists can use the air pressure reading or the barometric reading to be able to predict if good or bad weather is coming into an area. So we are going to build a barometer today, and then hopefully you'll be able to take several readings over the next few days, and maybe you will notice a correlation between the amount of pressure in the air and the temperature in the air. It's really interesting, isn't it, that air pressure is changing around us all the time. We just don't necessarily notice it. So that's why we are going to build this tool so that we can tell when the air pressure is changing. So to do this, to make this barometer, you will need a few supplies. You will need a glass jar, you will need 2 straws, a marker, some really sticky washi tape or some masking tape, a ruler, a pair of scissors, a piece of cardstock, it doesn't need to be very big, and then a balloon. I have 2 balloons here just in case one tears or one breaks, but hopefully the first one will work. All right, so the first thing that I am going to do is cut off the neck of my balloon. So right about there, I'm going to cut that off. We don't need the neck anymore, so make sure to dispose of that one responsibly. And then you are going to slowly and carefully open, maybe, the balloon that you have left. So you just have the ball part of the balloon, and then you are going to very carefully stretch it over the mouth of this jar. This takes a little bit of practice, and it might be better to have 2 sets of hands do this. In fact, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. This balloon is much stiffer than the one that I practiced with. All right, but I'm not giving up. I am going to get this stretched across. So I have it on one end. All right, I'm making it, right? Whew, this is kind of awkward. But, oh, it's almost there. All right, look at that. All right. Oh my goodness, the balloon is getting away from me. Okay, but this is what we want. This is perfect. We want it a very tight seal, and we want it as flat as possible. You can see this one has a little dimple. That's just what the end of the balloon would be, and that's okay. The thing that you want to make sure of is that the balloon is completely around the top of the glass ring, and there are no leaks in that seal. All right, so once you have this, then you are going to make the arrow that will allow you to do your readings. So you take your cardstock, and all you need to do is cut a simple triangle. It doesn't have to be fancy. And then this is when I'm going to use my marker. Actually, I'm going to make that triangle just a little bit smaller. All right, so I'm going to make it kind of like that, but of course this doesn't really matter. But then I am going to take my marker, and because I want to be able to easily read the readings that it gives me, I am going to just draw a red line on the outside of my triangle. That will just make it a little bit easier for me to read. Okay, so once I have my triangle, then I am going to make a little slit in my straw. So I'm going to make one just like that, and then I'm going to come to the other side straight across, and then I'm going to make another slit right there. And then I will be able to just slide my triangle in that slit right there. Okay, then I am going to take this straw and I am going to put it in my other one. To do that, you'll probably have to fold up the end of the straw that's going into the other one just a little bit. You can just kind of flatten it there, and then you can stick it in easily, and then stick it in all the way to make sure that it stays tight. Okay, then you are going to place your straw right there on top of your balloon, and then you are going to take some tape and tape it on. So we pull out this watermelon tape, which is just perfect for kidding around. And you see that I am putting my straw more than halfway across, but not all the way so that it's touching the glass. And then I am just going to place that tape right there. Well, guess what? Your barometer is built. So now you get the fun part of measuring and recording your measurements. What you do is you should put this on a flat surface, either on a counter or maybe on a floor next to a wall, and then you should put a ruler right close to the arrow. And then for the next several days, if you can do it at about the same time every day, that would be best. But if you can't, that's okay too. You can still measure. And then every day, you should measure where this arrow is pointing. So right now, it looks like it's almost at 6. It's between 5 and 6. And then tomorrow, I would measure it. And I would make a note of that. And then I could compare yesterday's to today. And then if you do that for several days, you'll be able to compare an entire week's worth if you do that, right? Or even more than that. But then you can start comparing it to the weather. So maybe in my journal today, I would say 5.5 inches, or as exact as I could get. I can't quite see it right now, but 5.5 inches, and the weather is sunny. And then tomorrow I would make a note of where the barometric pressure is and what the weather is outside. And then that might allow you, after several readings, to be able to tell how the pressure affects the weather. I would love to see pictures of your barometers, and I would also love to know what you find out with the barometric pressure and the weather in your area. Your parents can take pictures of your barometers and post your findings on our Facebook site. I can't wait to hear what you find out. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this Test Tube Tuesday. I hope you've learned about air pressure, and I hope that you've had fun too. Who knew that air pressure could be so much fun? I look forward to seeing you on Thursday when we'll be doing another Thoughtful Thursday video. I can't wait to spread kindness around the world with you. Thank you so much for joining me today on this Test Tube Tuesday. Thanks so much for kidding around with me. I will see you next time.